So I just want to make a video about the difference, going right back to beginner level, like the difference between windsurfing in really light wind and medium wind. And I had this question from somebody on the channel, and so like basically if there's virtually no wind and you're just like putting around for a nice time, your feet are on the either side of the mast, right? And the sail is almost vertical, right near your chest, okay? Because this is where you need to balance to keep the board, floating. So the basic rule of thumb with this is you put your feet where it feels right? Because in the end of the day, you're balancing, and when you're in really light wind, it's actually really hard to balance because you don't have any wind in the sail to pull against to stabilize yourself. So it's literally like a balancing game. So your feet are up, right up on either side of this mast. Now, when there's a bit of a gust comes or there's a little bit more wind, it's really simple. You just move back a little bit. And you might find that depending on where you're windsurfing, if the wind's coming up and down all the time, you've got to constantly sort of be moving. Like if the wind drops, move forward. If the wind picks up, move back and put a little bit more power in. Now, of course, this extrapolates all the way back to when you become a more advanced windsurfer and you start to get planing to what's going on with these foot straps. And basically, you can see that the gist of it is the more wind you have, the further back on the board you can go. And then you start getting into the foot straps, and then you start to really be able to lay some power into this board and get it slipping along the surface. Now, what happens though if you're right back here and you lose the wind altogether? Well, you'll sink and the back of the board will just go into the water, right? So what you've got to do is quickly whip out of these foot straps and scurry back up to the front if there's no wind. And so you're constantly doing this forwards, backwards sort of thing, depending on how much wind you have. And that's sort of like, it's tricky when you're windsurfing changing conditions, especially when you're beginner, and it takes a while to get your head around, but you'll get there.